Have you ever wondered what happens to your body and life when you turn 80? It's not just another birthday. It's a biological and emotional milestone that can redefine everything from your health to your independence. As a doctor, I've witnessed the unspoken truths of aging in hospital rooms and homes across the country, and I'm here to share 5 critical changes every woman will face after 80. You need to watch this video until the end because the 5th reality is the one most women overlook until it's too late, and knowing it could be the key to staying vibrant, independent, and truly yourself well into your later years. Before we begin, I would appreciate it if you like this video. You can help me continue to spread the old age lesson. If you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. If you like this video, please comment number 1. If you don't like it, comment number 0 to let me know, so I can make a better video for you. Now let's get started. 1. Your immune system becomes shockingly fragile. Let's cut to the chase with an uncomfortable truth. By the time a woman reaches her 80s, her immune system is no longer the robust, vigilant protector it was in her youth. Think of your immune system as a highly trained army, once adept at repelling invaders like bacteria, viruses, and even rogue cells that could lead to cancer. Now, imagine that army at 80. Many of its soldiers have retired, some are on limited duty, and the reinforcements are slower, less coordinated, and less effective. This isn't just a metaphor. It's a biological reality known as immunosenescence, the gradual yet relentless decline in immune function that accelerates with advanced age. Immunosenescence affects both arms of your immune system. The innate immune system, your body's first responders that tackle threats immediately, and the adaptive immune system, the specialized forces that learn and remember specific pathogens to mount targeted attacks. By your 80s, both systems are faltering. The innate system becomes sluggish, less able to detect new infections quickly. The adaptive system, which relies on memory cells to recognize and fight familiar foes, loses its precision. Your body produces fewer new immune cells, like T cells and B cells, and those that remain are less responsive. Picture a security team that's understaffed, undertrained, and struggling to keep up with an influx of threats. This decline has profound consequences. Infections that a younger person might shrug off, a mild respiratory bug, a urinary tract infection, or even food poisoning, can spiral into life-threatening conditions for an 80-year-old. For example, pneumonia, which might cause a fever and cough in a 40-year-old, can present with vague symptoms like confusion or fatigue in an older adult, delaying diagnosis. Healing processes also slow down. A surgical incision that might close in days for a younger person could take weeks for you, increasing the risk of complications like infections or reopenings. Even minor injuries, like a small cut or bruise, can become gateways to serious setbacks if your immune system can't respond effectively. What's more, the signs of infection in older adults are often deceptive. Unlike younger people, who might spike a high fever or feel sharp pain, you might experience subtler, atypical symptoms. Sudden confusion, sometimes mistaken for dementia, unexplained lethargy, loss of appetite, or weakness. These are your immune system's faint whispers, not its usual alarms. Ignoring them can be catastrophic, as delayed treatment allows infections to gain a foothold. But here's the empowering part. You're not powerless against immunosenescence. You can bolster your immune system with deliberate, proactive steps. Vaccinations are non-negotiable. Stay current with age-appropriate shots like the pneumococcal vaccine for pneumonia, shingles vaccine, and annual flu shot, as these directly reduce your risk of preventable infections. Nutrition is equally critical. Your immune system thrives on protein-rich foods, think lean meats, fish, eggs, beans, or tofu, and micronutrients like zinc, found in nuts, seeds, and shellfish, and vitamin C, abundant in citrus fruits, bell peppers, and broccoli. A surprising fact, about 70% of your immune system resides in your gut, so prioritize gut health with fiber-rich foods, fermented options like yogurt or kefir, and possibly a high-quality probiotic after consulting your doctor. Physical activity also plays a role. Moderate exercise, like walking or light yoga, can stimulate immune function by improving circulation and reducing inflammation. And perhaps most importantly, listen to your body. If you feel off, whether it's sudden fatigue, confusion, or a vague sense of unwellness, don't dismiss it as just aging. Seek medical attention promptly, because early intervention can be the difference between a quick recovery and a prolonged hospital stay. By taking these steps, you're not just reacting to aging, you're actively fortifying your body's defenses. 2. Muscle wasting, sarcopenia, picks up speed. You've likely heard that muscle mass declines with age, but what you may not realize is that after 80, this loss transforms from a slow drip into a torrent. This condition, known as sarcopenia, is far more than just feeling a bit weaker or struggling to open a pickle jar. It's a silent, insidious process that can erode your mobility, independence, and even your survival if left unchecked. Sarcopenia isn't just about losing muscle. It's about losing the ability to live life on your terms. Here's the science behind it. Starting in your 30s, you naturally lose about 3 to 5% of your muscle mass per decade. By your 80s, without intervention, you could lose 30 to 50% of your total muscle mass compared to your younger years. This isn't just about strength. It's about function. Muscles stabilize your joints, power your movements, and keep you upright. When they waste away, everyday tasks become monumental challenges. Stepping off a curb without wobbling, rising from a chair, or getting out of bed without assistance can feel impossible. A minor misstep can lead to a fall, and at 80, a fall isn't just a bruise, it's a potential fracture, often of the hip, which carries a sobering statistic. Up to 20 to 30% of older adults who fracture a hip die within a year due to complications. The downward spiral after a fall is brutal. A fall often leads to hospitalization, which leads to prolonged bed rest. Bed rest accelerates muscle loss. Studies show you can lose 1 to 2% of muscle mass per day of immobility. Recovery through rehabilitation is often underfunded or rushed, and many older adults never regain their previous level of function. Before long, a woman who was once active and independent may find herself reliant on a walker, a wheelchair, or even full-time care, all because sarcopenia was allowed to run rampant. But here's the beacon of hope. Sarcopenia is not an inevitable sentence. Research is clear that even in your 80s or 90s, you can build muscle and reclaim function with the right strategies. Resistance training is the cornerstone. Don't worry, this doesn't mean lifting heavy barbells. Simple exercises like chair squats, resistance band workouts, or lifting light dumbbells, even 2 to 5 pounds, can signal your body to preserve and build muscle. Aim for 2 to 3 sessions per week, ideally under the guidance of a physical therapist or trainer familiar with older adults. Consistency is key. Even small, regular efforts compound over time. Nutrition is equally vital. To combat sarcopenia, you need 1 to 1.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight daily. For a 140-pound woman, that's about 64 to 77 grams of protein, equivalent to a chicken breast, a serving of Greek yogurt, and a handful of almonds spread across the day. Pair this with vitamin D, which supports muscle and bone health, especially if you're not getting enough sunlight. Foods like fatty fish, egg yolks, or fortified dairy can help, but a supplement may be necessary. Check with your doctor for the right dose. Hydration also matters, as dehydrated muscles are more prone to injury. The takeaway: aging will try to rob you of your strength, but you can fight back. I've seen women in their 80s pick up weights for the first time and, within months, walk without a cane or climb stairs with newfound confidence. By prioritizing strength training, protein, and vitamin D, you're not just preserving muscle. You're preserving your independence and rewriting what aging looks like. If you are still watching this video and finding these lessons useful, please comment number 1 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Thank you for your valuable time. 3. You become invisible, even to doctors. This is the hardest truth to confront, but it's one you need to hear. After turning 80, you may start to feel invisible to the world, including in the places where you should be seen most clearly: doctors' offices and hospitals. This phenomenon, often rooted in medical ageism, is a pervasive and deeply troubling reality that can undermine your health, dignity, and autonomy. It begins subtly but stings profoundly. A nurse might address your daughter or caregiver instead of you, even though you're sitting right there, fully capable of speaking for yourself. A doctor might gloss over your concerns with phrases like, "At your age, that's to be expected," or "We don't want to overtreat." Tests that would be routine for a 60-year-old, like a cardiac workup or cancer screening, might be skipped without a clear explanation. You might voice a symptom, like persistent pain or fatigue, only to be met with a dismissive, "Well, you're 80." This isn't just frustrating, it's dangerous. Medical ageism leads to underdiagnosis, undertreatment, and worse outcomes. Why does this happen? Healthcare systems are often stretched thin. prioritizing efficiency over individualized care. In this environment, age becomes a lazy shortcut. Instead of seeing you as a unique person with a specific history, goals, and needs, some providers fall back on stereotypes. She's too old for surgery, she wouldn't want aggressive treatment, or her symptoms are just aging. These assumptions strip you of agency and choice. For example, studies show that older women are less likely to be offered aggressive cancer treatments or referred to specialists, even when they're otherwise healthy. This isn't because they can't benefit, it's because age biases cloud clinical judgment. The consequences are real. A missed diagnosis, a delayed treatment, or a dismissed symptom can escalate a manageable condition into a crisis. And when you feel invisible, it erodes your confidence to advocate for yourself, creating a vicious cycle where you're less likely to speak up or seek care. But you are not powerless. You have the right to be seen, heard, and treated as an individual, not a number. Here's how to fight back. Be your advocate, or bring one. If you feel dismissed, ask pointed questions. What tests would you order if I were 60? What are all my treatment options, including aggressive and conservative approaches? How many patients my age have you treated for this condition? These questions force providers to justify their decisions and focus on you as an individual. Demand clarity. If a doctor uses vague terms like, at your age, press for specifics. What exactly does my age mean for this treatment? Can you explain the risks and benefits? If you don't understand, say so. Good providers welcome questions. Switch providers if necessary. If you consistently feel patronized or ignored, find a doctor who listens. Geriatricians, who specialize in older adults, can be especially attuned to your needs. Bring a notebook or advocate. Write down your symptoms, questions, and the doctor's responses. If you're worried you won't be heard, bring a trusted family member or friend to reinforce your voice. Know your rights. You have the right to a second opinion, to refuse or accept treatment, and to have your concerns taken seriously, regardless of age. The best healthcare providers see you as a person first, not just an 80-year-old. They listen to your goals, whether that's living independently, managing pain, or pursuing aggressive treatment. You are not defined by your age. You are a woman with a rich history, a future to shape, and the right to exceptional care. At 80, your voice matters more than ever. Use it. For mental sharpness depends heavily on one thing. A common misconception persists that once a woman reaches the age of 80, her mental acuity inevitably begins to wane. Many believe that memory lapses, confusion, and a dulled cognitive edge are simply par for the course, reserved exclusively for the young. Allow me to dispel this myth with clarity and conviction. Cognitive decline is not an unavoidable consequence of aging. While the brain undergoes natural changes as we age, these transformations do not equate to a loss of intelligence or an inevitable slide into dementia. The key to maintaining mental sharpness lies in one critical factor: active engagement. As we age, the brain does experience physiological changes. Research shows that the brain's processing speed, how quickly it absorbs, processes, and responds to information, tends to slow. Recalling names, dates, or details might take a moment longer, and juggling multiple tasks simultaneously can feel more taxing. The prefrontal cortex, responsible for executive functions like decision-making and problem-solving, and the hippocampus, vital for memory formation and retrieval, may shrink in volume. Blood flow to the brain can decrease, and the efficiency of neural connections may wane. However, the number of neurons remains relatively stable if the brain is consistently stimulated. This is where the concept of use it or lose it becomes paramount. The most significant error I observe among women over 80 is the tendency to mentally retire. Too often, they step back from intellectual challenges, opting for the comfort of routine. They may stop reading thought-provoking books, engaging in stimulating conversations, or pursuing new skills. Social circles shrink, and hours are spent in passive activities like watching television or sitting in solitude. This withdrawal starves the brain of the stimulation it craves, accelerating cognitive decline. In contrast, women who remain intellectually curious, socially connected, and open to new experiences demonstrate remarkable resilience. Even when brain scans reveal age-related changes, such as reduced volume or slower neural pathways, these women maintain sharp minds thanks to a phenomenon known as cognitive reserve. Cognitive reserve acts like a backup generator for the brain. It's built over the years through consistent mental, social, and physical activity. When one neural pathway slows, a robust cognitive reserve allows other parts of the brain to compensate, ensuring continued mental clarity. Studies have shown that women over 80 who engage in mentally stimulating activities, such as reading complex material, solving puzzles, or learning new skills, have a significantly lower risk of developing Alzheimer's disease, even if they carry genetic predispositions for it. This underscores a powerful truth. Your lifestyle choices can outweigh your genetic blueprint. So, what practical steps can women over 80 take to preserve and enhance their cognitive vitality? First, prioritize social interaction. Isolation is a silent threat to mental health, doubling the risk of cognitive decline in seniors. Engaging in conversations, sharing laughter, or participating in group activities stimulates multiple brain regions, from language processing to emotional regulation. Joining a book club, attending community events, or even video calling loved ones can make a profound difference. Second, embrace novelty. The brain thrives on new challenges, whether it's learning to paint, mastering a musical instrument, studying a foreign language, or writing memoirs. These activities forge new neural connections and strengthen existing ones. Third, incorporate physical movement. Regular exercise, such as brisk walking or yoga, increases blood flow to the brain and promotes the growth of new brain cells, particularly in the hippocampus. Research indicates that just 30 minutes of moderate exercise most days of the week can measurably enhance memory and focus. Finally, pay attention to nutrition. A diet rich in omega-3 fatty acids, found in fish like salmon, B vitamins, from leafy greens and whole grains, and adequate hydration supports cognitive function. Dehydration, often overlooked in older adults, can impair concentration and memory, so drinking enough water is critical. If you notice your mind slowing, resist the urge to retreat. Instead, lean into the challenge. Engage your brain daily with activities that spark curiosity and connection. At 80, mental sharpness is not a gift bestowed solely upon the young. It's a skill you can cultivate through deliberate, consistent effort. The brain is remarkably plastic, capable of adapting and thriving when nurtured. In short, it's use it or lose it. If you are still watching this video and finding these lessons useful, please comment number 2 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Thank you for your valuable time. 5. Your world shrinks unless you fight to keep it open. One of the most poignant realities I've witnessed in my work with women over 80 is the gradual shrinking of their world, not due to physical limitations alone, but because of subtle, insidious shifts in their environment and choices. This phenomenon is deeply emotional, as it affects not just a woman's schedule but her very life force. Without intentional effort, the vibrant, expansive world she once inhabited can contract into the confines of her home, dimming her spark and vitality. This shrinking often begins subtly. A cherished friend passes away, reducing the frequency of heartfelt conversations. Driving at night becomes daunting, and then driving altogether feels overwhelming, limiting mobility. Social groups, such as a weekly book club or knitting circle, may disband as members face health challenges or relocate. Family visits become less frequent as children juggle demanding careers and grandchildren move to distant cities. Over time, the home becomes the epicenter of existence, a safe but stifling refuge. For many women, this narrowing of their world goes unnoticed at first, but its impact is profound. Humans are wired for connection, stimulation, and purpose. When a woman's world shrinks to the walls of her home, her days begin to blur together. The motivation to dress up, go out, or engage in meaningful activities wanes. Energy levels drop, and a quiet sense of disconnection sets in. This can spiral into depression, which is often undiagnosed in older adults. Alarmingly, depression in seniors can mimic dementia, presenting as forgetfulness, confusion, fatigue, and disinterest. I've seen patients misdiagnosed with cognitive decline when, in reality, they were suffering from emotional starvation, a lack of purpose, connection, and joy. The antidote to this shrinking world is intentional action. Women over 80 must fight to keep their lives vibrant, varied, and socially rich. This requires effort, as the opportunities for engagement that come naturally in younger years often diminish with age. Joining a local senior center, volunteering, or participating in community events can rekindle a sense of belonging. Even small actions, like inviting a neighbor for tea or attending a lecture series, can expand one's world. Technology can also bridge gaps. Learning to use video calls or social media can connect women with far-flung family and friends. Pursuing new experiences is equally vital. Taking up a hobby, attending a concert, or exploring a nearby park introduces novelty and stimulates the mind and spirit. These activities don't need to be grand. Even small changes, like rearranging furniture or trying a new recipe, can break the monotony. Physical mobility, where possible, also plays a role. A short walk in the neighborhood or a gentle exercise class not only boosts physical health but also opens opportunities for social interaction and environmental engagement. The emotional toll of a shrinking world cannot be overstated, but neither can the power of choice. By deliberately seeking out connection, variety, and purpose, women over 80 can keep their world expansive and their spirit alive. It's a battle worth fighting, because a life lived fully, at any age, is a life that shines. That's it, ladies. The 5 critical realities of turning 80 and how you can take charge to stay strong, sharp, and connected. I hope this has opened your eyes to the changes that come with this milestone and the proactive steps you can take to thrive. So, tell me, what have you learned from this video? Pick one thing you've taken away that you'll put into practice in your life and share it in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. If you found this video helpful, please leave your comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more real talk on aging and living your best life.